If you see a glowing sign in Atlanta town saying grab a putter and come on down, we're heading down the fairway, set the date right now, March 18th, 7 to 10, we're gonna show you how.
The Put Shack is a little fun place where we can get together.
Put Shack, baby.
Put Shack, baby.
Put Shack, baby. Put Shack. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack.
Sign says PayProTec is hosting tonight. Partners and vendors, yeah, we're doing it right.
Well, it's set back in the city, the food is tasting great. Grab a drink, take a swing, don't you dare be late.
We got Danny, Josh, and Paul at the starting line. Jazzalee, Nate, and Jenny looking mighty fine. Everybody's moving, everybody's grooving, baby.
Folks lining up inside just to play
The
around.
Put Shack is a little fun place where we can get together.
Put Shack, baby.
Put Shack, baby. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack.
Put Shack, baby.
Put Shack, baby.
Hop in your Chrysler, it's as big as a whale, and it's about to set sail.
To the Put Shack.
Got the cold drinks pouring, got the golf score soaring.
Eat a little food, get in a great mood.
Put on the green, baby.
Put on the green, baby.
Knock a little hole in one, baby.
Put on the green, baby. I can't hear you. Put on the green, baby.
Put Shack, baby, Put Shack. Partners and vendors, yeah.
March 18th,
7 to 10 p.m.
Atlanta. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack.
Put Shack, baby, Put Shack.
Put Shack, baby. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack, baby. Put Shack.
Put Shack, Venom.
Put Shack, baby. Put Shack. Put Shack. Put Shack. Put Shack.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us live, you just heard the world premiere of the Put Shack Baby. I might pronounce it Put Shack, but AI isn't perfect. I don't know what is, but the lyrics were written by our wonderful friends at Gemini. Our music was produced by Suno, and the world is coming together in Atlanta, Georgia, just a couple weeks, three weeks from yesterday, I believe it is, on March 18th from 7 to 10 p.m. PayProTec is taking over the Put Shack there in Midtown Atlanta as we attend the ETA conference there. And if you can get there, why not? If you're a drivable distance, flyable, some people are flying in just to hang out. We are going to be at Put Shack from 7 to 10 p.m. You can go to join.payprotec.com right now and RSVP, find out all the details. It's going to be a lot of fun. But today on Office Hours, we're not just promoting wonderful new songs. We're not just talking about the Put Shack, but we are absolutely talking about how a person can spend 10 years in corporate and then move on and become, well, Victor Lord Payments. Let me bring everyone up on the screen here on the upper right-hand side of the screen. Jenny, you may have heard your name in that song at the world premiere. How are things in Glenwood Springs? And are you ready to attend in Atlanta just a couple weeks here now as we head down to ETA 2026?
Yeah, so things are great in Glenwood, and I am so excited for our trip to Atlanta. We're heading to Atlanta. Really looking forward to seeing everybody, and it's going to be a really fun event. So if you can make it, please come join us and hang out with us.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And Mike Stetzel, you're not going to be able to make it to Atlanta, but I'm pretty sure that you know what that song was based on and what I used as a prompt. Can you tell me a little bit, what do you think that song was? And props, as that my camera zoomed in on me there. Props, if you can tell me what year that song came out.
Oh shoot. Gosh, it's the B-52s and Love Shack, and one of my most used and abused songs in the 90s and for late 90s for karaoke. My guess is going to be 1989.
You are 100% accurate. That is in 1989. I was the coolest
Oh,
seventh
yes.
grader in Warsaw Middle School when that song came out, and it was a controversial because they let it get played at the middle school dance. Love Shack Baby. All right, so but before any other introductions, before we go on with the questions, or before we have an introduction on the lower left-hand side of your screen from Tucson, Arizona. It is Mr. Victor Lord. Victor, how are you today? How is, go ahead. We've got Colorado, two of us in two different parts of Indiana. Make us feel bad about how bad our weather is,
Yeah.
Victor.
It's about 80 degrees here in Tucson. So we're getting ready to go to the rodeo. We have rodeo week this week in Tucson. I believe it's the only place in the country that has rodeo week. So that means my daughter has today and tomorrow off of school, which means
What?
I take today and tomorrow off of work. So I'm very happy for that.
Well, thank you for taking on your day off when you're celebrating the rodeo. I don't, to my knowledge, I know, I mean, I know the Houston rodeo is supposed to be the world's largest
Right.
rodeo, but I don't think they get out of school for having it down.
No, I've not heard of that
that
anywhere. That's cool.
That is, it's kind of like when I lived outside Philadelphia, when I first got out of college, and I learned that all the rural schools there all took you had the first Monday after Thanksgiving off. It wasn't because it was Thanksgiving, it's because it was opening of deer season, and you just take that Monday off. And I was like, that's different for me. So rodeo is a new one too. I like that, Victor. Victor,
Yeah.
can we start out? Can you kind of give us a little bit of a setup? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got into payments, kind of introduce just a little bit about, and tell us a little bit about your family and where you are in Tucson.
Sure. So I'm in Tucson, Arizona. I have a wife and two beautiful daughters and a female Chihuahua as well. So I'm outnumbered at home.
Jeez.
But yeah, I've been learning how to tread lightly. I just began my sales career back in '92 when I was going to ASU, and I found that I liked it, so I stuck to it. And about 12 years after that, I found merchant services, and the reason I was so thrilled to find it is the fact that there is no limit on how much you can earn. And so, most jobs you work for an hourly wage, and so it doesn't matter how hard you work, you're just stuck earning as whatever your wage is. And so that was very enticing to me, and I gave it a whirl, and I liked it. About 3 years after that, I went back to the industry because I did leave for a few years after working for 1 year, and I started working for a company here in Tucson. It was a corporation, and so I was an employee, and I really liked what I did. But the flip side was that I was an employee, so I didn't own my accounts.
Hmm.
I had to work really hard to maintain attrition because a lot of companies in this industry they start adding fees and annual fees, when monthly fees they increase the rate, and so before you know it, you lose your customer. And so I lost about 650 accounts in that 8 year period when I went back with that company. So I figured there was no way for me to grow my book of business. That's when I found PayProTec, a huge blessing because I knew that I would be able to build something where I can rely on and not have to worry about losing my residual income after deciding to retire. So 10 years down the road, which is now, um, I've established enough income where I can provide for the family and pay all the bills. And so I'm looking forward to, at this point in the game, to just work another 10 years before I retire and have that freedom of not worrying about financial obligations.
I love that. When you were working the corporate game, Victor, can you talk us? I know you sent us over a bio a little bit, and you talked about the fees, the leasing. When you went out on your own and you joined up with PayProTec, and we're not the only one who gives that freedom. Talk about the freedom to price your merchants the way you wanted to be able to put them on the products that they were right for them. On top of that, not overcharging them for those products. How did that change even how you sold and the ability to sell when you had more freedom?
Oh, it's like night and day because I wasn't subjected to those rules and the parameters from corporate where I had a pricing structure I had to follow. I had to lease equipment just to keep my job. I had to lease equipment, and it got to a point when I was an employee that I couldn't sleep at night anymore. It was my
Mm,
conscience was eating me up because I knew I was taking advantage of merchants, and that's not a good way to build any business. You're not supposed to take advantage of your customers. You're supposed to provide a service at a fair price. And so, working for PayProTec, like you said, there's other companies that do the same thing as PayProTec does. But I'm very, very pleased with PayProTec because they have not only given me the opportunity to price my accounts as I see fit, but they also have the support that I need at any given time. I can always reach out to somebody at PayProTech and get an issue resolved within 24 hours and usually much faster than that.
Awesome. All right, Mike and Jenny. Jenny, you want to go first in the next question?
Yeah, I would like to hear a little bit more about when you decided to go out on your own. What did that look like? Did you have any help? Were you just, cold calling or going to local businesses? What did it look like when you decided to move onto your own and had to start up on under your own business?
Well, it looked a lot like when I was an employee, with the exception that I didn't have to make 100 phone calls per day. I didn't have to lease equipment.
mm,
The way I operated changed like night and day. I was able to board accounts at my discretion in terms of pricing, and that gave me the ability to get more accounts and get my feet wet with being independent. Of course, being independent sounds like it's all fun and games, but you do have to put in the legwork. You have to put in the time, and it does take time and effort to build a portfolio. So I just started building a pipeline. I knew it was a long term vision I had. So what I did is I just
mm.
started building a pipeline and followed up on my prospects and just kept doing it day in and day out. And that's how you get results. You build a pipeline, you follow up, and after you sign your merchant, you go back and you make sure everything is well, you're going just fine and with no issues in terms of funding and the functionality of the terminal or the POS, whatever it may be. So all those things play an important role. But as far as how I worked after becoming independent, it didn't change much. The thing that did change was how I conducted business. I was able to price my accounts as I saw fit, and I knew that I would be able to keep that account as long as the merchant was happy with my pricing and my service. So that's my focus, and it still is to get new accounts and make sure that the merchants are pleased with pricing and service. It's not rocket science, but you do need to put the legwork to avoid that high attrition.
Yeah, I mean, I think I forget the number you gave us, but 600 plus trading merchants. You
Ugh,
put all that work in, and you're just watching it go out the back door. And man, that's got to be frustrating. And I think that's one of the things I love about this industry is you own your asset. It's your portfolio, and if you're losing the merchants, there's some things that can go wrong. There's 40 hands in every new merchant. There's things but for the most part, it's on you. And I love that. Mike, what do you got for the next question?
yeah, gosh, several things were going through my head there. First off, that 600 and some deals to lose in in 8 years. I know guys that would kill to just have that many deals in 8 years. So you were definitely out there spinning your wheels and grinding. If you could afford to lose, that means still have an income. My goodness. Anyway, yeah, just from having known you and talked to you over the years, I know you would lose sleep over those things. So um, I'm glad you made the switch when you did as well. So back when you made the switch, 2018, 2019, you're getting started. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did? What was your routine? I have a lot of new agents who maybe are new to the industry but not new to sales, and just many ways they're new, and they want to know how do I do this? And so I give them my opinion. I share with them what other partners do. So I'm always curious to know what you did, and then to look at your records. You've had hundreds of merchants with us now, and still do have most of those. But how did you do it in the beginning? What was your secret?
I took my time. You have to take your time when you go out there. You have to, make notes, get index cards, use your phone, whatever you need to do, and follow up and keep track of what you're doing so you're not wasting your time out there and forgetting who you talk to, who the decision maker is. There's a lot of things that need to be put on paper or, as a note in one way, shape, or form. You need to have the decision maker's name, when they're going to be back in the store, how long they've been with their current provider, what type of solution they have right now. And so all those things play a role in being able to help you, switch them over. And most merchants, I can't give you a percentage, but it is a high percentage. Most merchants are dissatisfied with their pricing or their service. And I found that most of the time it is the service. So I do follow up with my clients whenever they call me. I don't ignore
Hmm.
them. I take their call and try to get whatever question answered or issue resolved as soon as possible. That keeps them satisfied with my service. And then, obviously they will eventually refer me to somebody else, or even if they don't, as long as they stay my client. And when I say you take your time, it also means being consistent and not just kicking back and staying at home, because being independent requires more discipline.
Hmm.
And so I found that just sticking to my routine. Everybody's different. I have a wife and kids, and you may not. You may be retired. Some people don't have a family at
Yeah.
all. Whatever the case may be, and whatever your goals may be, will also determine how hard you're going to work, how long you're going to work. And for me personally, I chose to stay to a routine that revolved around my kids. And the reason I did that, because it made me stay consistent and being out there in the field, following up. But I do also draw the line when it comes to not working, because what the last thing anybody wants to do in this industry is burn out. And so I have the freedom of just taking time off. Like today, it's
Yep.
rodeo weekend. We're going to the rodeo after this call. And so I'm very blessed to have this job, this opportunity. But at the same token, I need to put in the time. I need to invest the time to follow up with merchants and not miss a beat in that way, so that I have a better chance of closing deals. Because this is a game of numbers. And it's the law of probability. If you go out, let's say you talk to 10 merchants per day, and in one week it's 40, it's about 160 a month. Okay, but if you only go out once a week, that
Yeah.
drops down to 40 opportunities. So the more you're out there, whether it be a phone call or in person or networking, the more chance you have to close deals. So what keeps me going is knowing that I know I'm going to close a deal if I spend the time. It's the law of probability. If you're out there and you get a no, and to me that means I'm closer to a yes. So I don't take it as a failure. I
Yeah.
take it as being closer to another success. And if you have that mindset, it keeps you going when you're out in the field, because it is a tough business. This industry is very cutthroat. There's hundreds of telemarketers, or thousands, hundreds of companies
Hmm.
out there, hundreds, thousands of reps. So it's not an easy close. But at the same time, if you put yourself out there and make those decision makers believe in you, that you're genuine about what you do and how you do it, then you have a much better chance of growing your portfolio.
Awesome.
I like that you had a quantity to say, okay, I talk to at least 10 people a day. So and that was kind of one of the things I wanted to get out of it. So if you talk to 10 people a day, that was good. It might mean you had to pull 40 doors though, right? To have 10 conversations. Is that kind of what your mindset was?
It wasn't about the numbers. I gave that as an example. It is a
Hmm.
numbers game, but everybody's different. Somebody might close a deal every time they talk to 10 people. Somebody else, it might be every 50. Somebody else, it might be
Yeah.
every other person. It just depends on your ability to close your market that you're working. So nothing is set in stone, obviously. But my point is, the more you're out there, the more deals you're going to close. And so everybody has to be able to determine, each individual, what it takes to be successful in terms of how much they expect to get out of this industry. If you're only closing one deal a week and you want to be closing three, well, then do the math. You have to work three times as hard. So it just depends
Yeah.
where each person falls in terms of their closing ratio and also their goals. That makes also plays a big role in this, because if your only goal is to survive, then you're okay with closing one per week. But if your goal is to buy a house, or do another business venture, then you have to do the math and figure out, what do I need to accomplish my goal. And that's when you start looking at the numbers and the time invested.
Love it. All right. Hey, let me get Mike lost the signal there for a second. Let me get everybody back up. But Victor, I'm going to pivot a little bit to more the joys of and the fruit of your labor. So let's talk about going to the rodeo, because I'm not a rodeo guy. I've not been to a rodeo. At some point I'm going to get one. I'm a Midwestern city boy. Tell me what the rodeo is going to be like, and what's your favorite parts of going to the rodeo this week?
It's just spending time with the family. It's fun. I'm not a cowboy. I'm a city slicker. I enjoy hot rods and doing stuff outside of the rodeo. But because it is in town, we do enjoy going there and eating some good food and just spending time together. But the rodeo consists of probably any other rodeo: the barrel racing, the bronco riding, and things of that nature. But I'm not a cowboy, but I do enjoy watching those events.
Awesome. So tell me, Victor, what's the best thing you're going to eat today? What are you looking forward to eating at the rodeo?
We're actually, I'm going to be honest with you. We're not going to eat at the rodeo because we've been disappointed a few too many times.
Okay.
But we are going to eat some brisket right after. Yeah.
There you go. There we go. And tell me a little bit, because you talked about being hot rods. Tell me about your passion for classic cars, and what's your go-to classic car right now?
Well, I grew up working on classic cars. I would fix them up and use them and enjoy them. And so one of my favorite cars is the '57 Chevy and the '67 Chevelle. Those two have always been my favorite cars. But as long
Mm.
as they're fast and they look good, it doesn't matter too much what I'm driving. So I need to watch my foot because it's a little heavy on the pedal. And but yeah, but I do enjoy working on them and giving them a nice look, and then driving them around. I've enjoyed that since I was a kid.
That's awesome. Jenny, you got a question?
Yeah, I would like to know a little bit more about your style now and how that's changed from, I mean, so first when you were working with a corporation and then you started on your own, what have you seen change and what have you changed about your selling style and maybe even the equipment and the pricing over the years that's helped you just adapt and be as successful as you are?
Well, when I was a representative, an employee, that is, it was very different because I was under pressure, and so I still went out there and
Mm.
got the job done, but it was different because my focus wasn't what is the best thing I can do for the merchant. My focus was, how can I close this deal so I keep my job. So it's a
Mm.
completely different approach. Now I'm looking to see how to meet the merchant's needs, and I know that not having to lease equipment or price them a certain way, and also having so many options of point of sale systems and credit card machines. There's just so many options, online accounts, and you name it, we have it. Being with PayProTec is, like I said before, a huge blessing because they're very versatile. There's a lot to offer, and so my focus now is to find out what the merchant wants in terms of processing, And if there's any complaints in pricing, with the cash discounting now in play, that helps tremendously. But I don't enforce that. The cash discounting is good for merchants. I know that, everybody knows that, but it doesn't work for every merchant. And so I keep an open mind when it comes to pricing. And what I want to when I focus on the most is accommodating the merchant, because if I can do that, we're going to do business and they're going to be my client. And then of course following up and making sure I don't disregard their phone calls, and just be there for them, helps me with the keeping that with retention. It's extremely important, because if you avoid a merchant, any merchant, you're more than likely going to lose that merchant, because they don't trust being with you anymore. They don't have any communication, and when they see that you're there for them all the time, they stick with you. And if you can keep an account that's pulling in $100 a month in residual, uh, by answering a few phone calls per year, because it's not common, as you all know, then it's worth it. It's like it's just the same as closing an account, a new account that brings in the same amount. So, do you want to go out and
Mm.
close another account that brings in $100 a month, versus servicing this account 3 times a year? And of course we want to do both, but in terms of retention, it's extremely important to follow up with merchants and be there for them, whether it be directing them to customer service, or hopping on the payments hub and finding out what's going on with their deposit yourself, whatever the case may be. But just being for them, they see that you're serious about being there for them, and that goes a long ways.
Love that, Mike. You got another question?
Yeah, that is man, that's such a great point. It is such a great point, just to be there for them. Um, when you were sort of at this precipice of, you're working for this company for 8 years, and obviously, even when you're at a job that you're just, there's weird feelings, the old feelings, it's still the same job you've had for 8 years. And for a lot of people, there's a habit to that. There's a comfort to that. So what did it take? I mean, obviously, 100 phone calls is just, I have my own opinion about it. Threats of, losing commissions, and then you missed your goal by X amount. They threatened to fire you. So what finally broke it? And you said, you know what? I know I'm making a living for my family doing this, and it's secure. What finally made you go, it doesn't matter anymore?
Not being appreciated made me make that decision. I was into the company when I went back in '08 for 7.5 years. And I was one of the top reps. I got first place numerous times for the year. As you can see in my backdrop here,
I
a
was
lot
just
of
going to say, we've missed this obvious thing behind you here that says, you know what, you've done well here.
yeah, and I've been extremely blessed. And even with that company, I was blessed as a salesperson. But when I did miss that quota after being with the company for 7.5 years, and I was threatened with my job, that's when I realized that there was no security in staying there. And I wasn't in the business to just get by. My goal was to be successful for my family, for myself, and I just couldn't see myself getting there with the company, because the attrition was high. And if they were going to threaten me after 7.5 years of being successful with the company, then how much value was I to them? I was just a number. And so that's when I made the decision that I was going to leave the company at the end of that 8th year. And so I did. I did get my
Mm-hmm.
last first place award at the end of that year, and I never turned back, because I knew there was no future. And with PayProTec, like, I know there's other companies again that do this, but I really I'm very grateful for the people at PayProTec, because they're there for you. And so when you need something, it gets addressed, it gets resolved pretty quickly. They do everything they can. You guys are awesome. when it comes to helping agents out, getting things resolved, answering questions. And when I can even call you guys when I'm in front of a merchant, if I have a question that I'm unsure of,
Yeah.
I can call or send an email, and I usually get a response before I leave the appointment, and I can answer them. Oh, I got your answer right here in front of me, and they're like, "Wow, that was fast." So that goes a long ways, because what merchants wants to see is the support they need, just like every agent, including myself, and the merchants also, they want to see the support. They want to know that they're going to be taken care of. So when I was with that company and for that period of time, I made that move without hesitation, because I knew that there was no future and no security in staying there, and that's why I don't plan on leaving PayProTec at all.
We're fortunate in that way
Love
to
that.
have
Yep.
people that are the same ones that are still here that you started with, even Pam, Jen, Mike Thomas, me, and so we're very, I don't want to say lucky, because there's more to it. There's a lot of things that wrap into that, that Jenny at one time was our newest employee and is now 5+ years. Is that right? I mean, it just, we're very fortunate
Yep.
that we all stick together, and it makes us a much better team to do the things you just described. So I appreciate you pointing it out, and we do believe it's what makes a difference with us, and because as you said, Nate said, we're not perfect. There's definitely things we could all go back and look at and know that we're a problem or a mistake. And
Uh,
appreciate your loyalty and your character for that.
all right, one
Thank
last
you.
question, Victor. I know it's been a couple years now. You white labeled with us. I remember getting on a phone call, myself, Josh Brown, with you to brainstorm some names, and you went with the very creative name that I like, and it shows your confidence in your own service of Victor Lord Payments. Um, what is, have you seen any growth for yourself in doing that and white labeling? I'm putting you on the spot here, because I could be, I'm just intrigued as you've done that, and now your statements and your online portal say Victor Lord Payments versus PayProTec.
I have seen growth. The growth has been steady since I started with PayProTec. There's attrition; it's inevitable. We cannot keep every account. We all know that, but it has been steady. And what I enjoy about representing myself this way is that merchants can see the genuine factor, because when they see my name on the card, and when I handle my business card, they know that I'm putting myself out there, that I'm not just throwing a company name out there. I'm doing it and putting my name on it, on the line, so to speak, because
Yeah.
I have to come through for them, and in order to keep the uphold the reputation of myself, then I have to come through on everything I say. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, because, like you said, we all make mistakes, but I do my best to come through with what I tell them. I'm transparent. I'm there for them when as needed. And so by giving them a card that shows them that my name is on it, signifies that I trust what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that they do as well. That's why I decided to go with my name, because it's telling the merchant, look, I'm not hiding from anything. I'm going to be as transparent as I can be, and I want your business for the long haul. And so it has been very helpful in getting new business, because merchants now see that I am serious about it, because I'm putting my name on it.
Love that. And I said last question, but I've got one more. What would you tell what would you tell yourself that you wished you had known when you're starting out, or someone who's just starting out of the industry? What are some of those things that maybe you wished you had learned earlier, as you've been doing this for a long time now? You're still a young man, but you've got a good career going on here. What do you wish you had known, or what would you tell someone starting out in this industry?
I would say to just follow up on everything they're working on, because if you don't, and that index card gets lost between the cracks, then you're wasting your time out there. You're losing your time that you've already invested. So it's very important to always follow up and log everything, whether it be on your phone or on an index card or a planner. Log all the information that you need on every account. That way, you know who you're going to talk to, who the decision maker is. When you call to follow up, you can ask for them by name. You're not just another person. You know, you walk in the door, you ask for the owner by name. That goes a long ways, because now you're not just being another salesperson, a telemarketer. People see you as somebody who's genuinely interested in earning their business. And well, I do my business locally here in Tucson because I can service them locally much easier. I know we can work across the country anywhere, and that's fine. If something lands on my lap, I'm going to take it, but I'm not going to do that just for the sake of being able to be present for my clients. And so my best advice to newbies, new people in this industry, again, is just to follow up and make a note of everything that you've run into, the name of the owner or the decision maker, the day and time that is best to contact them and follow up with them, and 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 be confident in everything that you say. Uh, because people see that if you are hesitating, unsure of yourself, then they're going to be unsure of you. So you need to present yourself not only as a confident salesperson, but as an advisor, and and that gives you a lot of credibility. So being confident out there and looking professional, it gives you credibility, the credibility you need to close accounts. And so I would just encourage that on new people in this industry to be able to grow the business and get that retention to be as high as possible.
Love it. All right, Mike, I'm going to have you do a closing word here in a
Absolutely.
second, but I will just a little housekeeping, a reminder that on March 18th in Atlanta, Georgia, Midtown Atlanta at the Putt Shack, you can go to join.payprotec.com from 7 to 10 p.m. You can we'll have some drinks. We'll play some golf. It looks like an amazing thing. This is our second year in a row doing this at a putting. We did miniature golf in Vegas last year at the ETA, and now we're doing it again because everybody had so much fun. And this looks like even a different and a more this play. I'm really looking forward to going and checking this Putt Shack out. So can't wait to have you. Go to join.payprotec.com and you can RSVP and look for an email. I think it's going out later this afternoon. You'll get a couple emails, a couple texts reminding you, but we'd love to see you in Atlanta, Georgia. Mike Stetzel, can you give us our closing word as we wrap up here with Victor Lord?
Absolutely. I got to give quick credit to one of the comments in from the clown section. Sorry, Andrew Lotka. I'm just kidding you. He said, Victor is the Lord of Tucson. I would go a step further and say Victor is the payments Lord of Tucson. So both these guys complimenting you here, Victor, are longtime partners of ours, as long as you, if not longer. The other one is integrity is a rare quality. At Victor Lord, truly cares about his merchants, and it shows. Uh, that in itself would be a great closing word. But in reality, thank you for being here and sharing some of the things that honestly we talk about with our partners. We talk about establishing relationships and taking care of them, answering the phone, all those things. But I love to hear the real stories coming from the streets and the way you've done it. And then having known you for years, I know that's how you do it. And you would call, and oftentimes, if there was something that was a mistake or something there was a question about for your merchant, it bothered you, and you're frustrated, not mad, but you're frustrated because you would put your reputation on the line. Again, the Victor Lord Payments reputation on the line. So I just want to thank you for sharing all of these tips and pointers and hints and ways to think things through and keep track of the information. Just appreciate that, and just know that these conversations we have with our partners do help people. We all hear from people days after uh, these have been uploaded, and we've had the occasional request, hey, do you think I could get to talk to that guy? And so just really appreciate you sharing it and getting that
My
information
pleasure.
out to our great team.
My pleasure. I appreciate you guys. You guys are always there for us, and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Victor. It was a great opportunity. I hope you have a wonderful time at the rodeo with your family.
Yes.
Thank you for taking a
Yes.
little your day off time to spend time with us. We're just very thankful for that. On behalf of Jenny Rickle, Mike Stetzel, I'm Nate Manahan. Thank you, Victor Lord, and we'll see you next time on Office Hours. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.